She told me she didn't love me anymore. I didn't argue. I just left. I still remember the exact moment everything ended. It wasn't loud. There was no shouting. No dramatic scene. Just silence, and one sentence. I don't love you anymore. She said it while scrolling on her phone, like she was commenting on the weather. I stood there, waiting for something more. An explanation. A reason. A crack in her voice. But there was nothing. Just distance. We had been married for 6 years. 6 years of shared mornings, late-night talks, small arguments, and quiet understandings. Or at least, I thought we had. Okay, I said quietly. She looked up, almost surprised. Okay, she repeated. I nodded. No questions. No begging. That confused her more than anything else. You're not going to ask why? I thought about it. But deep down, I already knew. Because love doesn't disappear overnight. It fades slowly. In ignored messages, in cold dinners, in the way someone stops looking at you. So I didn't ask. Instead, I walked into the bedroom, took out a suitcase, and started packing. She followed me. What are you doing? She asked. Leaving, I replied simply. You're just going to go like that? I paused for a second, then looked at her. You already left, I said. I'm just catching up. That was the last real conversation we had. The first night alone. The new apartment was small. Empty. There was no furniture except a mattress on the floor and a single chair. That first night, the silence was unbearable. No TV in the background. No sound of her moving around. No presence. Just me, and the weight of everything I didn't say. I won't lie, I almost called her. More than once. But something stopped me. Maybe pride. Maybe pain. Or maybe, a small voice inside me saying, if you go back now, you lose yourself forever. So I didn't call. The rebuild. The first few weeks were the hardest. I had to relearn everything: cooking, cleaning, even sleeping alone. But slowly, things started changing. I started waking up earlier. Going for walks. Taking care of myself. Not for anyone else. For me. I joined a gym. Started reading again. Focused on my work. And something strange happened. I felt lighter. Like I had been carrying something heavy for years without realizing it. The first sign. About a month later, I posted a simple picture on social media. Nothing special. Just me, smiling, standing in sunlight. Within minutes, she viewed it. Then another post. And another. She watched all of them. Every single one. At first, I thought it was coincidence. But then it became a pattern. She never liked anything. Never commented. Just watched. Silently. The messages begin. 2 months after I left, the first message came. Hey. Just one word. I stared at it for a long time. Then I locked my phone. I didn't reply. The next day. How are you? Still, I said nothing. A week later. I saw your post, you look different. I almost laughed at that. Different? No. I was just finally myself. The unexpected encounter. 3 months later, I saw her. By accident. I was at a cafe, working on my laptop, when she walked in. For a moment, time stopped. She looked at me like she had seen a ghost. But it wasn't shock. It was something else. Regret. You look good, she said, sitting down without asking. Thanks, I replied calmly. There was an awkward silence. You didn't fight for me, she finally said. I looked at her. You had already decided, I answered. What was there to fight for? She didn't respond immediately. I thought you'd try, she whispered. I shook my head slightly. Love isn't begging someone to stay, I said. It's choosing each other, every day. The truth comes out. She looked down at her hands. I made a mistake, she admitted. I didn't react. Not because I didn't care. But because I had already healed enough to not break again. I thought I needed something else, she continued. Something more exciting, more different? I finished for her. She nodded. And did you find it? I asked. Her silence was the answer. The shift. That day changed something. Not in me. In her. After that, the messages became more frequent. Longer. More emotional. I miss you. I think about us all the time. I didn't realize what I had. But by then, I had already moved forward. Not with another person, but with myself. The final message. One night, she sent a long message. I see you now, happier, stronger. And I hate that I had to lose you to understand your worth. I wish I could go back and choose differently. I read it twice. Then I replied. For the first time. I forgive you. But I'm not coming back. The ending she didn't expect. Weeks passed. The messages stopped. The views stopped. The silence returned. But this time, it didn't feel empty. It felt peaceful. Because sometimes, the person who walks away quietly is the one who finally wins. I thought it was over. Not just the marriage, but everything connected to her. The memories. The late night thoughts. The habit of checking my phone, expecting her name. All of it had finally gone quiet. And for the first time in years, silence didn't hurt. It healed. The life I built without her. 6 months after I left, my life looked completely different. Not perfect, but peaceful. I had turned that empty apartment into a home. Warm lights. Books stacked on the table. A small plant near the window that I somehow managed to keep alive. It wasn't much. But it was mine. I had built a routine too. Morning runs. Work. Evenings with music instead of arguments. And slowly, I started smiling again. Not for photos. For real. Then someone new walked in. Her name was Aisha. We met in the most ordinary way possible at a bookstore. I was reaching for a novel when she accidentally grabbed the same one. We both paused, then laughed. Good choice, she said. Looks like we have similar taste, I replied. It wasn't love at first sight. It was something better. Calm. Natural. No pressure. No expectations. We started talking, then meeting again, then texting. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel like I had to prove anything. With her, I could just be. Meanwhile, she was still watching. Even though my ex had stopped messaging, I knew she hadn't completely let go. Because sometimes, late at night, her name would appear in my story views. Then disappear again. Like she was checking. But didn't want to be seen. The picture that changed everything. One evening, Aisha and I took a picture together. Nothing dramatic. Just us sitting at a cafe, smiling. Simple. Real. I hesitated before posting it. Not because I was unsure, but because I knew what it would do. Still, I posted it. And within minutes, She saw it. The breakdown message. That night, my phone lit up again. Her name. After weeks of silence. I already knew this wouldn't be a simple message. And I was right. Who is she? I didn't reply. Another message came. So you moved on, just like that? I stared at the screen. Funny. She was the one who walked away first. But somehow, I was the one being questioned. Then came the message that said everything. I made a mistake. Please, can we talk? The call I almost ignored. She called me 3 times. I let it ring. On the 4th call, I picked up. Not because I missed her, but because I needed closure. Hello? I said calmly. Her voice was shaking. I saw your picture. I figured, I replied. There was a pause. I didn't think you'd move on this fast. I let out a quiet breath. It's been 6 months, I said. Not 6 days. That's not what I mean, she whispered. What do you mean then? I mean, I didn't think you'd be happy without me. The truth she couldn't accept. That sentence. It hit differently. Not because it hurt, but because it revealed everything. You didn't think I'd be happy? I repeated. No, she admitted. I thought you'd come back. I closed my eyes for a second. So you left me, expecting me to chase you? I thought you loved me enough to fight, she said. I did love you, I replied. But I loved myself enough to walk away. Silence. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Real. Her final attempt. Can we meet? She asked softly. I hesitated. Not because I wanted to see her, but because I wanted to end this properly. Okay, I said. One last time. The last meeting. We met at the same cafe where we used to go years ago. Same place. Different people. She looked different. Not physically, but emotionally. Like someone who had lost something they couldn't replace. You look happy, she said as I sat down. I am, I replied honestly. That seemed to hurt her more than anything. I miss us, she whispered. I shook my head gently. You miss the version of me that stayed no matter what, I said. Her eyes filled with tears. That's not fair. No, I said calmly. What wasn't fair was you giving up on me while I was still fighting for us. The choice. I can change, she said quickly. I know, I replied. Then why not give us another chance? I looked at her for a long moment. Then I said the one thing she wasn't ready to hear. Because I already gave you my best, and you didn't want it. She broke down. Right there. I didn't realize your value, she cried. I know, I said softly. And now, she asked. I stood up slowly. Now, someone else does. The final goodbye. She reached for my hand. But I stepped back. Not out of anger. Out of growth. I truly hope you find happiness, I told her. And you? She asked. I smiled slightly. I already did. And with that, I walked away. Not in pain. Not in anger. But in peace. The ending that matters. That night, I sat on my balcony, looking at the city lights. My phone buzzed. A message from Aisha. Did everything go okay? I smiled. Yeah, I replied. It's finally over. A few seconds later, she sent. Good. Now come back. I'm waiting. And for the first time in years, someone wasn't asking me to stay. They were simply happy that I existed. Some people lose you because they think you'll always stay. And by the time they realize your worth, you've already found your peace.